Hi everyone, it's Val Klein and you're watching another Supernatural review, and this is season 4 episode 14, Sex and Violence. If you're new here, I do a recap and review of every single episode of Supernatural, so let's get into it. Well, I don't know if I've ever rewatched this episode, but it's an episode you kind of remember, like not everything, but like you remember some things. And because I knew like what the episode was about, I kind of assumed like it was gonna be like lower on the list, like maybe one of the bad episodes of the season, but it wasn't. I actually think this is like a good episode. Like I was actually surprised. Maybe it's because I went into it with this thinking and then was more amazed. Like I don't know, I had like kind of an underrated thinking about this episode just because of like what it is about. And like I don't think it's like a perfect episode. I don't think it's like the best episode. Like it's probably not gonna be on top 5 best episodes of the season, but I feel like if you like look at it like good or bad, like it's leaning towards the good. It's leaning towards the good. So I was really surprised because yeah, what this episode's about, and I feel like because of what it's about, it could go so wrong. And I feel like they did a good job. Like the writers did a good job, which is actually like good, because I felt like lately there's been a few episodes that haven't been as good. Like Chris Angel is a douchebag. Obviously the last episode I'm like, oh, this episode's so good, but there's been a few that have been bad. And when you get these like storylines like this, like it's could go bad so easily, but like it didn't in my opinion. I don't know, the idea of like sirens, is that what it is? I think like they've been wanting to use, and it's something where, you know, we've been seeing magicians and seeing things that we haven't seen yet, because I think they want to start, you know, using things. Like they don't want to do ghosts every single episode, even though ghost episodes are amazing. They want to change it up. But obviously the direction they went with the siren is very risky. To have it be like, this episode was much more raunchy, I guess, in a way, of what they were doing, and that's why it so easily could go south. In my mind, I thought it did go south before I watched this episode. Maybe when I was first watching the episode, I was like, I don't know, like it's, you're on the fence a little bit about it, but I think they did a good job. Like I don't know why I'm saying that. So it's also something where we're introduced to someone who's FBI, and that person kind of gets involved in a way, and it's kind of, obviously we'll get more into that, but it's kind of interesting that like that hasn't happened yet, where they like have to deal with like someone kind of blocking or coming in. Like it's something where we like, you're kind of surprised that like this hasn't happened more with hunters, because it's something where it's like hunters, especially like in the early seasons of Supernatural, how they find cases is like newspapers, in later seasons obviously from online, but either way there's no like hunter group chat or whatever where they're like, I'm gonna go on this case or whatever. So it's kind of weird that they don't run into hunters more often. And then so this one they ran and technically into an FBI agent who then kind of immersed himself in the case. There's also this like B plot of like Dean is not really trusting Sam, and he finds out that Sam has been talking to Ruby, and they kind of make it a bigger deal than it really is. I think they just like had to have something that was like underneath it all to kind of mix in with the episode. So it's also one of those episodes where they think, okay, it's this person, and then this plot twist, it's actually this other person. And so it's kind of crazy that like Sam does hook up with this girl, and then Dean even points out like, you have a thing, you go for monsters. And it's like, it's also like an ongoing, that's like an ongoing joke in the Supernatural universe, but it's also ongoing that like they all die. It turns out that she wasn't the monster, which I actually thought like, I forgot. I thought like she was a monster and the guy was also a monster, but I guess she was not the monster. And so then the FBI agent was like, you know, getting along with Dean, like everything. And it's kind of crazy that like Dean didn't realize that this guy was a siren. And people always talk about how like it was the siren that's the man, because there's this like ongoing talk about like, you know, the sexuality of Dean that kind of, I think, starts in season 4, especially with the introduction of Cass. And so it's something where like this kind of feeds into that, the fact that it was like a man in a way. It's like, what? Because it's like, obviously like when you look at it and you analyze it, like he did it as a man, or the siren appeared as a man so that they didn't kind of think it was gonna be him. Also, it appeared as a man because what it wanted was like or Dean wanted was like a brother that he could trust, kind of in a way, that kind of feeling. And that's kind of what he was doing, is at the end he was like, you know, I could be your brother, whatever. Because in the end, like, that's what Supernatural is about, is the brothers. And I feel like that's why the writers went in that direction, obviously, because they don't love interest, so they can't really go in that direction, but going to a direction where it's like brothers and like that stuff, and kind of filling it in with like what the season's about, like, because of like Dean is not feeling so great about Sam and what he's doing, and trusting him with like Ruby as well. So I think that's why they went in direction. However, it is still a man, and the point of the siren is like to get what you want. So yes, it's like his brother, but it is like a man, and so that's kind of where that all, I guess, like this app feeds into it, and like it definitely feeds into it that way. I mean, there are reasons why it was a man. I basically just went through other reasons, but still, like, it adds into that element. So then we kind of see Sam and Dean fight, and they say all these things they want to say. I thought there was this scene in season 4 where Dean calls Sam a monster that makes you a monster, and then they get into a fight. But I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying enough attention during that scene, but that wasn't the scene. I don't know, I'm very confused. So maybe it's like another episode later in the season, because I remember that. But yeah, they fight, and then Bobby comes and saves the day. I feel like the writers are able to write Bobby so well, where he's not in every single episode, but the episodes he's in, he's helpful. Like, he is this episode, and when he was on the phone as the FBI agent, he was very helpful. And then when he comes in and he saves the day, he doesn't overtake the episode. He doesn't overwhelm the episode. He's perfect in how they write it. Don't feel the same way when Cass are in episodes, but I feel also like Cass hasn't been in an episode in a while. This definitely was more episodic, I guess, of an episode, but as I said, episodic episodes have a touch of serialization, and that's what this episode had. So yeah, as I said, this episode could go really south, it could have been bad, but I think the writers did a good job overall, and they wrote a really, I don't know, not a really good episode, but a good episode. And it's something where, again, if I'm like showing someone Supernatural, I don't necessarily, but I think I would show them this episode just because it's a hard episode with like what it's about. But I feel like it could be an episode if they wanted to watch it. It's fine, whatever. Thank you guys for watching. Comment below your thoughts. Comment below. And watch my comment, and bye.